last 3 years, we have been meeting on campus this day every year, either to interact with a guest speaker or for an awareness fair that the Office of Learning Support would organize to commemorate December 3rd as International Day for People with Disabilities or as a World Disability Day. Now, since 2020 has been a year like none other, the event for this year also had to be planned like none other. So we decided to invite and engage and interview 6 champions in the field of disability management, including 2 students. And thus, we have nothing to complain here.
We just need to remind each and every person in the world that, look, diversity is the key, and if diversity is the key to humanity, then we must understand that all of us are, born and brought up in very many different ways. And we want to say that even if I am a wheelchair user, or I am a person who is using the cane, or who is kind of, getting a sign language interpreter, any of these could be there. But the significance is that they are as human as anyone in the world.
Problems like this have been persisting forever, and people face them on a daily basis. So what internationally dedicated days like this do is they give us an opportunity to converse about them, and they raise representation, and they give a louder voice to the softer ones, to the people who need to be heard. More importantly, they raise awareness, they break stereotypes and stigmas, and regular people like you and me, we can talk about how we can commit to making the world more inclusive.
UN commemorates various days right through the calendar, and this day in a sense serves to bring to the fore, hopefully, and I would underline the word hopefully, the fact that there is a significant population with varying conditions, and that through highlighting these conditions, one as a person who is perhaps at that moment able, quote unquote, realizes that, well, there are things that an individual with disability can do.
In India, I feel like we still have not gotten to that part. Maybe because we are lacking in the sense of disability community, or maybe it is kind of lost. Because disabilities, we have a lot of different disabilities, right? It is not just one. So each of them have different communities. We have like deaf community, blind community. So it's not like one thing. Maybe that's why we are lacking in that, significance.
This whole having a milestone brings attention of the mainstream and the masses to this topic. We are discussing this today. We have organizations discussing, corporations discussing, the governments also discussing this. So it brings attention to this topic, reminds us of the barriers, reminds us of the challenges. There is more work to be done. So it's a good way to celebrate and remind us, yes, let's go and do more work.
In terms of physical disabilities, being in a wheelchair myself, the most common problem I face is transportation and inaccessibility of buildings. Most of the very, very esteemed and very historic educational centers don't have ramps or elevators, and they have a lot of stairs, even rough terrain. So I think these kind of things need to be worked on. This is also called institutional ableism. For disabled people, journeys are remarkably different, and I can speak on no one's behalf. So you only know what someone's going through when you can't experience them, right? So I think we need to really listen, and if the administration's inclusive enough with honest intentions, and they're willing to make or bring about positive changes using the resources they have, I think it's very much possible to make the education system a lot more inclusive than it is today.
from deaf community and being a deaf person, this is my experience from this point of view. So I feel we can include ISL, that is Indian Sign Language, but it is not an official language in India. So again, it becomes a problem if we include that in the curriculum, because government has not made it an official language.
Higher education, particularly, we need to connect lot of inclusive education resources with that of adapted educational services. Fortunately, we have few models which we can proudly talk about. So there is a need for coordination, there is a need for learning from each other, there is a need to identify effective leaders to bring about awareness and possibilities and showcase what has been achieved through these efforts. So these kind of things, if we can focus more on the International Day for the Disabled.
For different disabilities, you have different challenges, but what you need to look at is the feeder, which is your school system, where you could have perhaps a more active intervention being focused on at the school level. You can't be running bridge courses at that stage, but you can certainly have government policies and other things looking at different disabilities and in what way those disabilities are disadvantaged when it comes to clearing the school system. So that when it comes to higher education, you have a crop of students who are better and get advantage of that 5% reservation.
4-step process: get ready, get your staffing and budgetary arrangements in place, and go on for a very, very strong outreach, very critical, which most of us miss out on doing that. Then sensitize, and fourth, provides doing the heavy lifting work of providing services. I think this is what is required for education institutions to step up. It's a good reminder of celebrating National Day of Persons with Disability. Good reminder that a lot of work is to be done in this space if we have to promote inclusion and equal opportunity and do justice to this, to our fellow citizens here.
When you see someone in a wheelchair with a stick, you immediately see their disability because it stands out so much. But maybe someone has something as common as diabetes or learning differences, cognitive differences, fatigue, and all of that also has to be taken in account because it affects their daily routine a lot more than we can ever imagine.
There are many other disabilities which we cannot really recognize that a person has a challenge until and unless you observe them behaviorally. So a lot of children with SLD, specific learning disability, autism, even I'm talking in terms of intellectual disability, all these categories are invisible. People don't understand that the person has this challenge and requires special support, whether it is in schools or it is in community or it is in families. The family members themselves do not accept in many cases that the child has a problem. So what I'm trying to say is the physical looks sometimes are very deceptive. They do not reflect the condition of disability, and the persons are ignored from being given the right kind of support.
Many of the disabilities which are not really, taken up in let's say the legislation bills and all that, where it is there, so they remain invisible because then they don't know what to kind of is to be done and how they are going to be looked at. Issue is that primarily they consider it as more, for example, schizophrenia, mood disorder, as if they are only linked up to hereditary, which is not true. I mean, they can always be linked up to the circumstances, to the environment, to the familial relationships, and there only these kind of invisible disabilities come up.
I would also like to take this opportunity to put in a word and to request everyone who's watching this video to make that one special effort. Take that one step forward to understand, to accept, and most importantly, to respect neurodiversity amongst us and around us. And I think today is a good day to start with that.